Welcome back to TRG Motorsports. We're outside in the parking lot with our team hauler here. I'm going to give you guys a little tour, little ins and outs of our hauler, how we use it throughout the weekend, and some of the things that help us make it through the race weekend that we've got stacked away inside here. Come on in, we'll jump in and check out the hauler. First and foremost, we got to keep our crew happy and not hungry, so we've got a fridge and a freezer here right at the front here with some of our amenities for forks and knives and everything else like that. We've got the rest of our food, our coffee makers and things like that tucked away. A lane here at TRG Motorsports takes care of us week in and week out, feeding me, the crew, taking care of everybody. Throughout the rest of the hauler, we've got a bunch of spare parts for the car so that no matter how bad I hit the wall, we've either got our spare car straight upstairs or they've got the parts here to fix it in between sessions here. It's pretty organized throughout here. Brake hosing, spare just about everything. Spare steering wheels on here that was spare brake ducts. We've got spare suspension parts, which is everything from rotors to calipers to a rear end to truck arms to steering arms to upper and lower A-arms, brake pads. We have really strong engines here, and we keep a cabinet here just for our engine builder here. He's got a separate kit for if we need a spare carb, belts, air filters, plumbing, all the lines on here, spark plugs, etc. Even some engine oil, some qualifying oil. And as we move on through the rest of the trailer here, we've got additional spares. We've got an entire line of upper and lower A-arms here. Basically, actually, this is all uppers on here. Every single geometry point, every 1/16 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch or so is on here and ready to go for when our guys are building these cars in the shop and looking for just the right geometry. And they can be pretty detailed, and from track to track we change that every single weekend. We've got our gear oil, our engine oil, basically just fluids. They come in 5-gallon buckets because we're changing them out so much. This is pretty interesting. This is our springs. This is just our front springs. We've got a whole nother cabinet of rear springs. We're going to Bristol this weekend with a 2,300 pound right front spring in it, but we'll see big variances across the board here, from the right front to the left front to the right rear and the left rear. We obviously, with the oval setups, we're set up asymmetrical for my road racing fans out there, where we're not square on the car. Everything's set up and a little bit skewed here. I don't know why we have pink duct tape, but we do. Back here, just some cleaners, drink bottles, paint, and then some office supplies, some track stuff, little things here and there just to make the weekend go a little smoother. We basically need to have a miniature shop on the road ready to go and have everything at our disposal very quickly. Coming near the back of the hauler here, our crew that shows up Sunday morning ready to go, do our pit stops for us lightning quick. They've got their separate uniforms here. Everything's ready to go. Laundry bags. It's a pretty efficient deal here. Come Sunday, when this thing is starting up, green flag, checker flag to done, these guys unload and load this thing super fast. At the back of the trailer, the very back here, we've got our radios. My crew chief's radio is in here. My spotter's radios are in here. We'll have different radios for different crew members, depending on who needs to talk and who doesn't need to talk, and who needs multiple channels, who needs to hear NASCAR and who doesn't. And Racing Electronics takes care of us pretty good here on this side of things, and gives us some pretty good stuff. Flipping over down the left side of the trailer here, we've got our rear springs. Another huge assortment of springs here. The springs that we run in the back really vary from track to track. Our scale setup is also in here. We'll take out four scales every single weekend, align them, load them up in the garage, and every time I come in, if we've got a major change to do, we jack the car up, put it on scales, get it ready, and make sure that our wedge and our balances, our nose weight and everything like that is where we want it to be. A lot of times you'll see during pit stops someone will either put in or pull a spring rubber, and what that is a piece of rubber that's wedged in the spring in the rear to help either increase or decrease balance. You know, you're trying to get the balance to the front or balance to the rear, and we'll reach in, pull one of these things out. Normally they'll have a tie wrap on them or something like that where the guy changing the tire can reach in and change really quick, and we've got all different assortments on that. We've got our electrical closet here. It's spare battery, any of the wiring that we do, everything on the dashboard, the ignition, the gauges, everything that we've got that we either need to fix or replace comes from here. Below that, we've got our shop toolbox, which has an assortment of nuts, bolts, hoses, clamps, cotter pins. We've got a small kitchen here, sink, microwave, place for preparing some more food here, and that is right next to the thing that gets used the most for most weekends in this truck, our shock dyno. Mike LaRochelle, our shock guy, and my spotter, both he lives here all weekend long. He's testing the shocks on here. We get our graphs up on here, which is also doubles as our timing and scoring, and then he's building our shocks on this table here. And every session we're trying something, changing something, flipping back and forth, increasing rebound, decreasing bump, going all through the motions there, trying to get the car as good. This is the lounge. My crew chief comes in here. He sits down after practice. We debrief on what I'm feeling with the car at longer length than what we normally talk about on the radio. The crew's in here changing. Kevin's in here. Tori's in here. We have meetings with our sponsors in here, so we can entertain in here and we can relax. I've got my my locker in here where I keep my stuff, my suit, my spare change of clothes, hat, gloves, shoes, Hans device, you know, some of my drinks, my Cliff Bars, which I'm kind of a Cliff Bar hog on the weekends, and of course my Heat from Hammer Nutrition, which is this is the energy drink that I use during my races. It's really good stuff, high energy electrolyte drink. I use it for my mountain bike racing, and it's just transferred over into my auto racing now too, for everything I use it for. We've got a satellite up on top of the roof, so we can watch the races. We'll actually watch and TiVo qualifying, so that after I'm done I can actually come back in here, take a look, see what I did compared to the competition, and we keep timing and scoring going on this monitor while we can watch the races on this monitor. A lot of times, especially for me being new into the deal, is I'll actually come in here and I'll watch the nationwide race right before our race, and I'll watch the start just to see a little bit of the mayhem, and then I'll come in here, tune in, and I'll see where there's some trouble spots or whatever, and then I can actually head out to that portion of the track and get a closer look. So I spend a lot of my weekend in here, and we try to make this hauler as efficient as we can. We'll take a quick look upstairs. It's empty right now, but I'll show you where the race cars go when they're traveling. All right, we're upstairs in the top of the hauler. This is where both the primary and the backup car will go. The primary car will line up in the back here. It'll be the last car to go in here. Our backup car will be tucked away in the front here. Hopefully we don't have to touch that all weekend long. We keep some spares along the side of the hauler. The roof mount and all that stuff goes alongside some of our pit signs, and then we've got a lot more stuff tucked away up here. Any sort of random stuff or whatever. I'm actually bringing my street luge to all these events just to kind of show off a little bit and get people interested in the deal, and hopefully maybe even get some riding in here and there. Thanks for joining us again here at TRG Motorsports for our rig tour, and join us again. We've got some more coming.